Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What I like to do is show you how to divide negative 3x squared plus 5x plus 4 divided by x minus 3. And you notice that we have a trinomial, or in a quadratic form, divided by a binomial. And that's in a linear form. So what we want to do is, first thing we're doing in our long division is make sure that they are in descending order. So you can see I have my largest exponent here is 2, 1, and then there'd be an x to the 0, but it's going down. Here, the same thing, linear, then our constant. We always want to have the constant at the end. So again, when applying long division, when it's in descending order, the first thing we only want to use our leading term and our divisor that we're going to divide into there. But then when we multiply, we got to make sure we multiply by both terms. So therefore, I just go as x divides into negative 3x squared. And a lot of times, students don't really say what to do, but they understand it when it's in this form. This is all I'm saying, negative 3x squared divided by x. That's the same thing over here. Well, hopefully you understand that here, the x squared is using the properties of exponents. It's just going to give us negative 3x. As the x's will divide into it. So therefore, I just say negative 3x. Now what I do is I make sure I multiply that negative 3x, which is divided by divisor of that division problem, times both of the terms of my divisor, or my quotient of my quotient of my previous problem, multiplied by your divisor. So negative 3x times x is going to give us a negative 3x squared. And you can always check to make sure you did it correctly, because when you, again, what we're doing is when you take x, divide into there, you get your new quotient, right? You take that quotient, multiply it back by the number you divided by, and it should give you your answer. It should give you what you divided into it again. Sorry, I have to go on this tangent. If I say 4, let's not do this. Let's say 6 divided by 2 equals 3. 3 is your answer, right? Well, then 3 times 2 equals 6, right? 2 divides into 6 3 times. 3 times 2 equals 6. It should always work out. But then I got to make sure I multiply by both of them. So negative 3x times negative 3 is going to give you a positive 9x. Now, this is where it gets very confusing for a lot of students. So that's why I'm going to use a red marker. What I like to do is subtract both rows. And I'm going to use parentheses because when I use parentheses, that tells me to apply distributive property. I need to make sure I'm going to subtract the 3x and let's do it this way. You're subtracting 3x as well as subtracting a positive 9x. So subtracting a negative 3x is now going to turn that into a positive. And subtracting a negative 9x is now going to turn into a negative x. Since I've distributed my negative signs, now I can just add them up. And I can remove my negative sign. So now I just do negative 3x plus a positive 3x, which I don't really need to show, is going to be 0x squared, which is just 0. 5x plus a negative 4x, or negative 9x, is a negative 4x. Now we start the process all over again. I say x divides into negative 4x. How many times does x divide into negative 4x? Well, you can see here, the x's divide out, so that becomes negative 4. So x divides into negative 4x, negative 4 times. Make sure you multiply by both of them. So negative 4 times x is a negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 3 is going to be a positive 12. Again, we got to make sure that we distribute the negative. So that becomes positive. That now becomes a negative. So then we add them up. So negative 4x plus 4x is 0x, which is just 0. And 4 plus a negative 12x is a negative 8. So therefore, negative 8 is going to be our remainder. And there's a couple different ways that we can go ahead and write that. But for in this example, I'll just write that the divisor divides into that, and negative 8 will be our remainder. Thanks.